Hello again, and welcome back to Kids Bible Stories. Today is part 20 in our Exodus series, and this story is called 12 Stones to Remember. This comes from Joshua, chapters 3 and 4. I respect each family's ages and stages of life, so I have adapted some of this. Please go back and read the scriptures yourself, including what is appropriate for your family. Last week, we left off with 2 spies returning to Joshua with wonderful news. Rahab protected them as they spied out the land and told them everyone in Jericho was scared of them. They should be able to take this land. We heard over and over again God telling Joshua that he would be with them wherever they went. Today is the day they cross over towards Jericho. We will hear God do incredible miracles yet again. Listen if any of them sound familiar. Let's begin our story now. Early in the morning, as the sun's rays poked through the darkness, Joshua and all the Israelites set out to the Jordan, where they camped before crossing over. After 3 days, the officers went throughout the camp, giving orders to the people to prepare to cross into the land. The Lord said to Joshua,
"Today I will begin to exalt you in the eyes of all Israel, so they may know that I am with you as I was with Moses."
Joshua gathered the group around and spoke.
"Come here and listen to the words of the Lord your God. This is how you will know that the living God is among you, and that he will certainly drive out before you everybody. See, the ark of the covenant of the Lord of all the earth will go into the Jordan ahead of you. Now then, choose 12 men from the tribes of Israel, 1 from each tribe. And as soon as the priests who carry the ark of the Lord set foot in the Jordan River, its waters flowing downstream will be cut off, and they will stand up in a heap."
So off they went. Now the Jordan River is at flood stage all during harvest. Yet, as soon as the priests who carried the ark reached the Jordan and their feet touched the water's edge, the water from upstream stopped flowing. It piled up and up, swelling larger and larger in a heap a great distance away, while the water flowing down to the Dead Sea was completely stopped. The people crossed over, now so close to Jericho. The priests who carried the Ark of the Covenant of the Lord stopped in the middle of the Jordan River and stood on dry ground, while all of Israel passed by until the whole nation had completed the crossing on dry ground.
Wow!
About 40,000 armed for battle crossed over the river, ready for war. When the whole nation had finished crossing the Jordan, the Lord said to Joshua,
"Choose 12 men from among the people, 1 from each tribe, and tell them to take up 12 stones from the middle of the Jordan, from right where the priests are standing, and carry them over with you. Then place them down at the place where you stay tonight."
Joshua obeyed. He called over 12 men, one from each tribe, and he explained what God said to do.
Go over before the ark of the Lord your God into the middle of the Jordan. Each of you is to take a stone, according to the number of the tribes of the Israelites. These stones will serve as a sign among you. In the future, your children will ask,
"What do these stones mean?"
Tell them, the Lord stopped the water from flowing in the Jordan. When the ark of the covenant with the Lord crossed the river, the water was stopped. These rocks will help the Israelites remember this forever.
The Israelites did as Joshua commanded them. Joshua then set up the 12 stones they brought. And they are there to this day. Everyone but the priests had crossed over the dried-up river. They remained standing there in the mud left behind from the once full river, when the Lord said to Joshua,
Command the priests carrying the ark of the covenant of the law to come up out of the Jordan.
Obeying God, the priests came up out of the river. No sooner had they set their feet on the dry ground than the waters of the Jordan rushed back to their place and ran at flood stage as before. After this, the group camped on the eastern border of Jericho. I imagine them sitting around a fire as Joshua reminded them of the significance of the 12 stones.
In the future, when your descendants ask their parents, "What do these stones mean?" Tell them, Israel crossed the Jordan on dry ground. For the Lord your God dried up the Jordan before you until you had crossed over. The Lord your God did to the Jordan what he had done to the Red Sea, when he dried it up before us until we crossed over. He did this so that all the peoples of the earth might know that the hand of the Lord is powerful, and so that you might always fear the Lord your God.
Well, that is it for our story today. But before we go, let's think about what we just heard. Some of what we heard today sounded very similar to our earlier stories in Exodus. Today's story spoke of the Jordan River drying up for the people to cross. What other body of water did God dry up for them to safely cross?
The Red Sea.
Excellent! Today, they kept 12 stones as a reminder of what God did and to show others who He is. When they were in the desert, God also told them to keep a jar of what? What to help them remember? I'll give you options. Was it a jar of pickles? No. A jar of sand? Nope. Or a jar of manna?
Manna.
Excellent. Do we sometimes need reminders like the Israelites did?
Sometimes.
They had the book of the law, jar of manna, and 12 stones. What are some things you may have that help remind you of God's promises and how faithful He has been? Answer out loud. I'll wait. Thanks for sharing. Some of you may have said, we have the Bible. Maybe some of you said photos or journals, memory books. These may help remind you of how God was there with you then, is with you still, and will be there in all of the days to come. Well, that is it for our story today. Thank you so much for listening. Stay tuned to hear what happens next. Will they finally enter the land and beat Jericho? Will they keep their promise with Rahab? Stay tuned to hear the closing of our Exodus series. And, as always, bye for now.